Many thanks for joining us again today. My name is Dakbo Aruaje, and thank God this Friday. And in a bid for the Lagos State government to curb this menace called kidnapping, the House of Assembly, Lagos State House of Assembly, has passed a bill criminalizing kidnapping finally. The bill says if you're caught, if you're part of the act, that's kidnapping somebody, that's life sentence for you. But if the person dies, that's the victim dies, that will be a death penalty for whoever is caught in that act. And maybe that will send shivers down the spines of those that commit this stupid act called kidnapping. So that's what we're looking at today. And to do that, I have a lawyer, Libros Oshuma, is a friend of the house also. Thank you very much, Libros, for joining us.
My pleasure, Dakbo.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you also. Are you looking fantastic this morning?
Thank you. I want to be like you.
Yeah. Kidnapping is not contained in the exclusive list of the Nigerian Constitution. So it's the House of Assemblies that should move a motion like that. What do you think? It's not the first.
For me, really, it is a commendable step, but it is, if you look at the body of the laws, it is almost like rubber stamping what's already in existence, because murder carries death penalty. And so if, the victim dies in the process, that's you've intentionally, willfully, committed murder, and also carries death penalty. And so that's already included in part of our criminal laws. And then I want to commend the step of the Lagos State government and other states, like Anambra State and some other states are taking, the initiative to enact laws to, curb kidnapping in their various states. In that of Anambra, they went as far as,
demolishing the houses.
Demolishing the houses of, houses where victims are kept. That if, a victim is kept in your house, and whether you know or not, and the victim is recovered in your place, and from investigation it is revealed, that victim was kept there, that house, automatically will be forfeited to government. And so now Lagos State government, because Lagos State government cannot, people can't close their eyes to the fact that, this is a prevalent issue in Lagos State government, most especially, in all of those communities, bordering Lagos, like the Ibejuleki Aziz, Aziz, Ikorodu, and even in the Badagry Aziz, So this has, been a recurrent issue. And so government, Lagos State House of Assembly rising to the occasion on this. It's a welcome development. But that said, prosecution starts from investigation. And so that's where, for me, our efforts should be channeled at finding ways to effectively policing Lagos State. Lagos State government had done a lot.
To do much of preventing the stuff itself.
Yes, and then also encouraging policing. You have the Lagos State government trust, Lagos Security Trust Fund. But apart from supporting, there's also need for us to look at the manpower. And you look at, take the issue of traffic management, for example. When it was just, the road safety, they did their best, they tried, but there's, little that they can do in terms of the cosmopolitan nature of Lagos State. But when Lagos States were allowed to, handle traffic management on its own, we saw how effective that collaboration can be. And so I think, the federal government also now should take the initiative also to find a way of restructuring the police, because this issue of state policing had been, in the top burner for a long time, even when APC were in opposition. Now that they're in government, I expect that, the Lagos State House of Assembly taking this initiative, let's see how also the government at the center can take the initiative of helping the states to actually and effectively police, the communities.
Okay, let's look at the states, because you mentioned some states. You mentioned Anambra. Anambra, through 2009, did pass that law into motion. And you have 6 states then: Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo. And in 2013, you had Serake Dixon of Bayelsa State having that death penalty also. Comrade Oshomole of Edo State, 2013. Even in Kogi, you have something like that. But since all these, since the enactment of this law, since the law has been in motion, or do you think anything has really happened? Or do you think in those states, kidnapping has reduced drastically?
Dapo, to answer that question directly, the answer is no. Because apart from enforcement, the law will end as a paper tiger, you know. The law is there. It needs people to actually enforce those laws. So that's why for me, what we should focus on, now the law is here, the House of Assembly had done theirs. What we should focus on is how to ensure that those that will implement the law, talk about the policing, talk about the judiciary, you know, are properly, you know, in tune with the modern equipment to carry out implementation, and then also to find a way of even, you know, policing the community effectively, that you don't even need to get to a level where somebody will attempt kidnapping. And that is why you find out that the more the states are passing these laws, the more the kidnapping is on an increase. And so then you ask yourself, what is the missing link? What's the missing link? Even in advanced societies, death penalties now, they are eradicating death penalties from their books, from their statute books. Because for them, if you commit murder and then you're killed in the process, or you're killed, you know, using the instrumentality of the law, it doesn't really serve it doesn't act as a deterrent to you in person, because you're gone.
They're gone.
You know? But if you are in prison, you're alive and you're suffering the consequences of your actions.
But the prisons are congested.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So we need to start from a reformatory process. There was a time where the idea of public partnership was mooted in terms of prison management, where people can actually build prison and then partner with government, provide the prison services, but government will do the manning and all of those ones. But I don't know what eventually happened to that idea, and it died, because that's what obtains, you know, in some, you know, more civilized countries. And here, I talked about policing. If you look at the structure of the Nigerian police as presently constituted, you say a state governor now, we are sent to this law, and he's the chief security officer of his state, but he commands no fly. And the police still is answerable to an IG in Abuja, who is answerable, you know, to a police service commission that is answerable to the president. And, you know, but you should have a way of having a truly independent and efficient Nigerian police. Not a police who is affiliated to the governor, not a police who is affiliated, or, you know, to the president, but a police that, you know, it's from the people. What do you call it? Crime is local, and so your policing should also be local. And if you bring a man from Arugungu to Koshofe, for example, to police Koshofe, the first thing is he would want to preserve his life, and then how well does he know Koshofe, you know, to be able to police Koshofe effectively. Okay. But if you take somebody who's been in Koshofe for all his life, he knows the nooks and crannies. If he sees a new face in Koshofe, he knows that, look, this is a new face in Koshofe. He knows where you're living and, you know, what you're doing in Koshofe. So all of this, once you were able to put this in perspective, you should be able also to check crime, because it should be an everyday thing. But by the time we all have a stake in it as everyday policing, then it will be easy for us to truly check crime and criminality.
There's something you said about the fact that a penalty doesn't serve as deterrent to someone that is dead. But does this serve as deterrent to the ones that are alive? Because
those alive that wants to commit.
You remember the Bar Beach firing squad?
Firing squad those days.
Then people will argue that stopped armed robbery to a certain extent, while some will say, okay, it doesn't hold any water.
You see, you need to look at the society that we are in now, and then also juxtapose that with the fact that people know that crime does not pay. And if you commit crime, if you are caught, you know, you go in for it. But what actually deter people is your effective use of, you know, your legal process to actually deter those that have committed or those that want to commit, or your effective use of your process to punish offenders. That's where you stop impunity. If, for example, Libros Oshoma commits a crime and then is able to meander his way through the policing and through the government, and then he's at home, nothing happens to him. People around Libros would be emboldened to commit such crime.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. And so, to that, if you look at it from that extent, then you now say, when you tie a man to the stake for firing squad because he was involved in armed robbery, some persons who, are nursing the intention would be scared to say, look, I don't want to end this way. The name and the shame it will bring to my family, will be unimaginable. Would I want to end my life this way? But there are some diehards who really, for them, if I can enjoy it today, I really don't care if I die anyway, because I would die anyway.
Libros, let me interrupt you, because a lot of questions after this short break, okay? Stay with us. So welcome back. I still have Libros Oshoma, a lawyer in the house. We're looking at this law recently passed by the Lagos State House of Assembly criminalizing further, kidnapping. Because the law was there before. And again, we had a law looking at a kidnapping. And they said the reason why they have to do this is to further expand the scope of existing kidnapping law to accommodate new challenges and curb the menace. New challenges. That means kidnapping has gone.
It wasn't the law initially in place was not deterring people enough. And so you need to have a law that will,
expand the scope of existing kidnapping law to accommodate new challenges and curb the menace. New challenges. That means kidnapping has gone.
It wasn't the law initially in place was not deterring people enough. And so you need to have a law that will, when you hear of it, it will deter you. But if you understand criminal psychology, you find out that the mind of criminals don't work that way. Most of them might not even know about this law. What works in the mind of criminal at that moment, they know that if they are caught, there is a punishment somehow.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
They might feel sober afterwards.
Yes, and then for some of them also, you find out that in some cases, at that point, of no return, that's the ones without conscience. They tell you, look, we have to do what we have to do. That is why you find in some cases, you have criminals that will go with toy guns, even though they have opportunity to carry the real guns. They will tell you no, because we don't want anybody's blood in our hands. But there are some that will, even if you give them toy gun, they say no, they want the real gun, because those ones have gone beyond the limits.
And some have got the guns they don't use. Some have got they want to kill.
And so that's why in some cases people talk about the prisons being a reformatory center, not just to keep you, because you have committed crime, but to reform you, to reform your mentality, to reform your thinking, so that when you get out of that center, you'll be able to, come back and live a normal life in the society. And so that's why you find that policing, they're always looking for ways. It's a dynamic job that you keep looking for ways to innovate, to check crime. Just like lawmaking saying, look, we need to expand the scope to accommodate new challenges. Now, policing also, you need to expand the scope of your investigation, the methodology used in your investigation to accommodate new challenges, to accommodate, what you did not envisage before. And then also you need to think like the criminal. But here we make the laws. We are very good at making laws.
Yes.
Just make the law, throw it,
execution
in the public.
Is the problem.
But execution is a major problem.
Can I quickly take George from Ikeja? Good morning, George.
Good morning, Dapo.
Hi, George. Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Yes, same to you.
Are you hearing me, please?
Yes, George, I'm hearing you.
Okay. The law that Lagos State government has just promulgated is a step in the right direction.
Okay.
The problem, however, we always remain the judiciary. It's one thing to make a law. It's another for that law to be implemented. Your guest talked about states where similar laws have been made,
Yes.
and that it has not been implemented in any of those states. There have been people that have been caught in the act, but when it gets to the courts, they would delay it and delay it and delay it. I know that there is a new law that they call Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which says criminal cases should be tried consecutively and should not be postponed for more than 2 weeks at a time. These judges are not following it. I think the judiciary is where our war on the sanity of this country should begin. Lagos State is known for pace-setting. If they have come out with this law, my suggestion to Mr. Ambode is this.
Yes.
Let the judiciary, let me find a way of keying the judiciary into that law to make sure that the law is implemented. The cases of kidnappers that are, accosted should not be cleared in the courts.
Okay. George, I have to let you go because I have to create a space for others to call in.
Let me quickly correct an impression.
Yeah.
That's one thing people don't know. And people always bandy this word, oh, judiciary. The judges don't investigate cases. The judges don't prosecute cases. They are like you and I. You sit down, hear the other side, hear both sides of the story, and make a pronouncement on that, either on the basis of probability or on the ground of reasonable conviction. And so, prosecution starts from investigation. And when also, that is not the only case the judge is handling. We need to know all of these things. If you are a judge, for example, and you have 45 cases on your list today, how many are you going to hear?
100.
And that's why people had consistently called on the government to look at a way of expanding the scope in other climes, like this area, this small community we are in now, should have at least 2 high courts. 2 high courts, at least 6 magistrate courts.
Not the customary courts.
No. So that, this small community, not even the entire Koshofe.
So they don't have to go all the way to Ikeja.
Exactly. And so, any matter that is coming in within this environment should be handled by these 2 high courts expeditiously.
Okay.
But when everything is in one place, and everybody comes in, 15 million Lagosians, you have about 64 courts attending to 16 million people, and you think they are going to decide all of these cases that are coming to them. Lagos have tried. They had even come up with alternative dispute resolution to also reduce the number of cases that goes to court.
And even liberals, the same goes for the police also.
Exactly.
One police to 400
people. How is he going to do it?
I don't know.
And so that's the problem. That's why I am saying we need to break it down to the basics. Now we have started, fantastic, make law. Yeah, but the people that are going to implement this law, it's not enough to say bring in these people to key in. How do they key in when they are not properly staffed and not properly equipped?
And again, liberals, let me ask you a question. How is it possible for a death penalty to work if the governors are not signing?
I was coming to that. I can tell you that since 1990 date, I cannot point to a governor in Nigeria that had assented. Because if the court passed a death penalty on a convict, for that death penalty to be carried out, the governor of the state must assent to it.
And they've refused.
And, because of how religious we are in this part of the world. And so, you don't want it to look as if, I am the one that sent them to death. And so, you have a lot of people on death row.
Yes.
But yet, the government had refused to assent to the execution.
And the prison becomes congested.
We've not even talked about the prison, the state of our prison.
Yes.
So everything, most of the problems that we are having is a societal problem. It is not enough for us to make law. Laws are good, but also in making this law, we need also to look at the basics from top to the bottom and bottom top. It's like you building the way we build also in this part of the world. A place is congested, you're putting a high rise in that place, you're not thinking of car parking, you're not thinking of electricity to that high rise. At the end of the day, you now put the high rise there, the current in the area drops, and then you're looking for people that will contribute money to buy transformer, for the area, because originally the plan of the power providers was not for that house to be there. And people that approved the building, did not put all of this in consideration. That's the same thing we do with lawmaking. And that is why at the stage of at the stage of public hearing, one would have expected that stakeholders would address all of these problems and say these are the challenges we're going to face with policing and then with the judiciary also. Because you look at the Ministry of Justice. Ministry of Justice will prosecute states' cases with kidnapping. Minister of Justice would have to prosecute. In cases where police will prosecute, the files goes to the Attorney General's office. And then in some cases, I have cases in court where we are still waiting for DPP's advice. Criminal matters. 1 year you are waiting for DPP's advice. There's one coming up on Monday now. We are waiting. The guy had been in custody for 4 years. And we're still waiting for DPP's advice on the matter. And so he goes ding dong. And also, the office of the Attorney General is also overwhelmed. And see, yet government is reducing costs of governance, and the work is piling up, and you have few people doing it. So when you put all of this in perspective, and then you juxtapose it with the new law, and then you say, how is it going to deter people? People will know that there is a law somewhere, that makes kidnapping, that pass death penalty on kidnapping. But nobody had been convicted, nobody had been, sent to the hangman for kidnapping. Let's even remove death penalties now. The ones that had been caught for kidnapping in some of these states, how well have we prosecuted those cases?
Well, let me take Comrade Akman from Agodo. Good morning, Comrade.
Hello, good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Comrade.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Mr. Libros.
Good morning, Comrade.
Good morning, sir. Please, I just want to ask you a question as a lawyer. This law is a good one. Every conscientious Nigerian or resident in Lagos must applaud Lagos State government and support this law to work. Sir, what if a kidnapper is being caught and they discover that a politician, maybe I'm a politician, I want to contest, the other opponent also wants to contest, and my opponent now sends a kidnapper to kidnap my child or my mother, and they discover that in the course of that a powerful politician is the one that sent it. What will be the penalty for that politician? Please, I'm listening, sir.
The politician is an accomplice.
Can I quickly go on a break? You answer that question after the short break, okay? Stay with us. Okay, welcome back. We're looking at the Lagos State House of Assembly okaying death penalty for kidnappers. And I still have Libros Oshoma. Before we went to that break, the last caller, Comrade Akman, right?
Yes.
Asked a question. He said, if a rich man, a big politician, is caught in that act, like he kidnapped somebody.
He's as good as the man he sent to kidnap somebody. He's an accomplice. An accomplice is if you send somebody on an errand, you are the bigger pocket. And that's why in most cases you find that when we talk about plea bargain, you say, when I catch the small thief, I want to use the plea bargain on the small thief to get to the bigger thief. The bigger thief is the man that sent him.
Let me highlight some other things. Attempt to kidnap is criminalized. That's life sentence.
Yes.
25 years if you're threatened to kidnap via phone, text message, or email. 14 years if you use your building as they kidnap. So 14 years. In Anambra, you take the building down. And 7 years if you make false representation to release someone that has been kidnapped. But can I quickly take Honorable Olusegun Olulade, a member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, is on the line. Good morning, Honorable.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you today? Help curtail or curb this criminal act?
Definitely, this will surely help in containing the act of kidnapping in Nigeria, especially in Lagos State. What we have done with this law has passed just yesterday, and is to ensure that every area is looking to. We have seen new challenges coming up in the areas of kidnapping, and that's what we have been able to address with this law. And the law is, the bill is a private member bill from the Right Honourable Speaker himself. So, and I think it's a 20-section bill, which is, even if you use your property, even if your property is used, that property will be forfeited. Now, if you conspire with anybody, that's 20 years. And if you are caught in the act of you, there's a life sentence for that. But if anybody end up dying in the course of that action of kidnapping, then you should know that you are facing a death penalty. And I want to say, in the area of implementation, we are committed to this law. We are committed as a government, and I know that within a very short period now, His Excellency Mr. Akinwumi Ambode will be putting his asset on it, and that will make it a law in Lagos State. And I want to assure Lagosians that the implementation, the enforcement of that law is something that we as a government of Lagos State have agreed upon, and we are going to see to it that it's well implemented.
Okay, Honorable, I stand corrected, but the last governor of Lagos State, that's Governor Fashola, had never, I think, never accented to the fact that someone should die by hanging. Do you think, or by any other means whatsoever, do you think Governor Akinwumi Ambode will put his signature for someone to die?
I want to assure you, if it is a law, and as a law-abiding citizen, as somebody who believes in the rule of law, I have no doubt in me that he is going to do that once that has been confirmed, once the judgments have been passed. I think putting access to death sentence will not be an issue, because already as a government they have sworn to the, as the governor of the state, they have sworn to the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria to abide by the rule of law. And I don't think that's going to be an issue. Well, the former governor might not be able to have done that,
yes,
but that still does not change the fact that we have a new regime, we have a new person in office who is committed to rule of law. And I believe that won't be an issue for us in Lagos State.
Okay. What about if a big man now, a politician, a well-known politician, is caught in this act? Like you heard Comrade Akpan, the last comrade. If a politician is found wanting, will the person go to jail or be killed at the way the other person should?
I laugh when I hear Comrade Akpan saying that. And I think that's most of the fears that Nigerians have, and it's due to what has happened in the past. And I think now we have a government that is committed to rule of law. Nobody is above the law. Even the governor of the state cannot exclude himself from this law. So everybody in Lagos State, everybody that abide or stay or commit that crime in Lagos State should be ready to face the music, irrespective of your status. For us in Lagos, we don't believe in having somebody because you are a big man or you are a small man. Everybody should be on the same page when it comes to law making, and that's why I thought that the rule of law must always prevail.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Olusegun Olulade, a member, Lagos State House of Assembly. Have a lovely day, okay? Thank you so much. And did you hear that?
Yes.
And
yes.
again, did you remember the man that that they said they wanted to blow the third mainland bridge. I think out of the little confession, he has confessed that he is a member of General OC, is it General OC or Captain OC, that conducted the kidnapping of the Babington Macaulay Junior High School, and also the Oniba of Iba. So at least we have somebody now.
Yes.
to try this case. What do you think?
The law has just been passed, and the law will not. I don't think the law will apply retroactively.
It takes some time.
No, from the moment the law is passed, if you are
but the guy is going to go to
no, if you are
court
caught
soon.
after that law had been passed, as when he was caught, the law was
The
not
law wasn't
enforced at
there.
that time, and so you can't. But then,
Can I quickly take, before then, quickly take Comrade Okorafo. Mazi Okorafo, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tapo.
Morning, sir.
Mazi from Aruchuku.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Good. I got Comrade Mazi Patrick Okoroka from Aruchuku Privilege. Honestly, definitely does not even the answer. You see, the best option for us is one, the informant, the house where the business are being done, the village, the cook, the steward, and the chief of that place. All of them should be gathered and just go to the prison yard and just keep them there after the court verdict. That's the only thing. Because killing one person does not end kidnapping. You saw what happened during the Ojus or Kano regime in Abia State. What happened? Bakassi boys were going around carrying all these kidnappers and armed robbers and the rest. The moment they know that you have, the people know that the chief just point to the cat, and they have a pack and they establish pack. There was nothing like going to court. They will carry it to your father's house and settle you down there in your father's house. The villagers will know about it. I've just seen the elongated system of Nigerian judiciary. That does not exist. At the end of the day, kidnapping is the most lucrative business now. Now, ensure the whole Nigeria
This kidnapping.
Yes, yes.
I told there was a man that they kidnapped. Let me just give like that. Just listen very well. I know that my time is very short. The man was kidnapped. When they kidnapped the man, the young man that was taking care of the man in that bush where the kidnappers have was a graduate. He had a master's degree. The man they kidnapped he told the man, look, see my certificate. The man said, my brother, if you have settled down that you don't want kidnapping, come to my office. When you finish this kidnapping, I'll give you a job. That was a kidnapper that the man was a deputy director. So these are the facts. This shot, they have networking. Even the bank officers are part and parcel of this.
Wow. Mazi Okorafo, thank you so much. And lucrative, that's what the picture is painting.
Yeah, you know why it is lucrative. Well, I told you that something becomes the order of the day if there are no deterrents. These laws are everywhere, but yet you have, a policing system that is not as effective as, that is not able to meet up with modern day policing.
Because
of
the
prevalent problems.
Yes, even thereabout now, most of the kidnappers, the story they tell us, like Ola Binto the other time said, the people he saw on the expressway were even putting on the regalia, the uniform of the police and even soldiers.
Yes.
So it's very difficult for them
for
to
you to even identify who is the police and who is not the police. You find out that he talked about the Bakassi boys. These are people who lives in the area, so they understand everybody that lives in that area. So as Lagos State is, I don't see why Lagos State cannot effectively police Lagos.
But we have
the federal government,
the vigilante, what's it called, the watch, neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch are effective because theirs is to look around and give information. There's a little that they can do.
Can I quickly take Victory? I'm sorry about that, Libro, so I'll come back to you. Good morning, Victory for Yaba.
Hello, Mr. Dapo.
Yeah, good morning.
And with proper respect to my learned colleague, Dr. Libro Pesuma. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor. I greet you.
And Happy New Year. Honestly, let's be very sincere with ourselves. If at the end of our affair, Babatunde Fashola, who is a legal practitioner, could not endorse the signature on death penalty, then I don't think Mr. Ambode will want to do that. I must be very sincere with you. You know why? Because all over the world, as of today, capital punishment as regards death sentence is being abolished. Rather, life sentences are taking place because they don't want to take life anymore. So if Lagos is now coming with this kind of policy, I am not aiding the fact that kidnapping is a very good act. It's a condemnable act. But we need to balance the law. You understand? And Pastor Libros understand what I'm talking about. We should be very, very... If basic amenities are put in place, Nigeria, Africa are not synonymous with kidnapping. Terrorism, those are global issues. Those are associated with Europe, another part of the world. But Africa naturally and generally were not synonymous with all that. But because of the current trend of unemployment, poverty ravaging the country, and the leadership are living big, and you think people will sit down and watch, oh, they are that will not work.
Okay.
That won't work.
All right, Victory, I'll let you go now. You've made your point. Thank you very much. Did you hear what I was saying?
Yes, I agree with him. Because it's a two-way traffic. Government needs to be responsible to the people. And then in being responsible to the people, also, it still takes me to the same point I'm talking about. You cannot effectively police Nigeria from one spot. Let states that can police, that can pay, that can afford it, begin to police their communities. I don't see any reason why Lagos State, for example, cannot police itself. Federal government needs to look at the Police Act. We need to look at the Constitution and find a way of take Koshofe, for example, and say, I do not see any reason why Koshofe should not have a sheriff system, for example, of policing. And so if you can afford it, police your community effectively. So with that, if local government, now everybody's talking about the federal government budget. Nobody's talking about the budget of the states. Nobody's talking about the budget of the local government. Meanwhile, what we should be looking at, what should concern us, should be the budget of our various local governments. And so this is the budget that will provide for your policing, that will provide for your social amenities. And so if you reduce governance to that level, because all governance is local, if you bring in that to the local level, where you'll be able to provide this basic infrastructure, like policing, it becomes easy for you now to effectively curtail most of these vices in the society. We don't commit crime in Nigeria. Do you know that in America, for example, even in UK, somebody will sit down and spend 1 year to plan a crime. And so the police will also need, to up their game to be able to catch somebody like that. Not somebody who just wakes up and feel,
he's hungry.
I'm hungry. So let's kidnap my uncle, for example. I will give some people information and they'll take him around, put him somewhere and begin to demand ransom. In spite of the fact that phones are registered, it's still very difficult for us to track some of these people. So that's why for me the first step.
Yes, we'll talk about those steps. And that'll be right after this short break, okay? Stay with us. So welcome back. Before we went to the short break, Libros was trying to prefer solutions to these menace called kidnapping. But let me take Yakub from Dokwemu before I go to you, Libros. Yakub, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dapo.
Morning, sir.
And good morning to Shoma Mohammed.
No, Libros or Shoma.
Libros, sorry.
Alhaji Yakub, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Dapo, you see, the problem we have in this country is our leader. Is our leader in the sense that I want to throw a question to Libros. Now that they have signed the law that if you are caught as a kidnapper and then in the process, the person that you kidnap dies along the line, definitely you are going to be killed by firing squad.
Yes.
What will happen to somebody that take all our money, the money that made for Lagos Ibadan Expressway? At the end of the day, we knew that this is truly this man.
That is worse than kidnapping.
Cash away our money. And then he not play back again, he return a little out of that money. What will happen to somebody like that? That is point number one. Point number two, that I can tell you categorically. Governor Akinwumi Ambode will never sign anybody to be killed. I can tell you that. Go and write it down. Because I listened to the Honorable Olula, they say that he believes that the governor will never. That is also a problem we have in this country. Now, I want a station whereby the law will change to a station whereby if the judge gives verdict that this person should be killed, you don't need the signature of government again. The person is already condemned. They should carry on and kill the person. But if you are waiting for the government to sign, the government, because of the political ambition and all that, it will never sign it. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much also, Yakub.
Yeah,
because you know what he said about the Lagos, because when you get to look at it really, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, people have died on that road.
Yes,
because
you
of
see,
somebody's...
because there is a beginning. Somebody, money meant to provide these amenities, somebody embezzled all. That man is even worse than the kidnapper. Because it is as a result of that direct or indirect consequences of his action that led somebody else to kidnap him. That man should suffer worse consequences than the kidnapper. Okay. But then,
the solutions.
Also, we need to, government world over is breaking down into smaller units. We need to begin to break down enforcement and governance to smaller units for easy implementation. If you assign one police to 400 people with one pump action, how is it going to effectively? If you have 20 people, out of these 400, you have 20 people who are criminals terrorizing these 400. It will be difficult for that one policeman to effectively, counter these 20 persons. If, for example, a kidnapping in Ikorodu, you bring one policeman from Amuvi and another one from Erumukokware to police Ikorodu, what is their stake in Ikorodu?
All the way from Erumukokware.
Exactly. And so the first thing they want to do, self-preservation, they protect themselves. The day you tell them there's kidnapping going on, oh, how many are they? Okay, there's no fuel in the vehicle because all these things, issues are, with us. But if you have a police from Ikorodu, some of them, they know themselves.
Can I quickly take this call? All the way from Enugu. Okwando, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dapo.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning to Barrister Legros.
Good morning.
Yeah. See, the problem we have in this country is that we don't obey the law. Let me tell you, for instance now, an example is fake. I don't think anyone would like to go back to that crime. But all entirely, I don't support the issue of death hanging, a death sentence, with one reason. One, some of these governors will tell you now that they don't want ghosts to be pursuing them around. I have heard a governor who stated.
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't want ghosts to be pursuing them around. And that's the problem we have in this country, because many of them are part of the system. They are part of the crime. That is the problem. You have to tell ourselves the truth. All these people are the problem, not those boys. That's gone. And I believe the Sharia option is a better way for such thing. I don't believe if you kill somebody,
the Sharia option.
Somebody, whereby you are caught in such a crime, either both of your legs or one of your legs are cut off.
Wow.
It will serve as a very big example for others who would not like to be going one leg up.
Okay.
Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Wow. Thank you so much, Okwando.
So for me, if I was giving an example with Ikorodu, so if you have boys from Ikorodu, in Ikorodu police, just like you had Ibadan Native Authority, the Lagos City Council, these were local governments, and they were running like states. And so in that area, a man who has lived in Ikorodu all his life knows the hot spot in Ikorodu. Even some of the signs will tell him, oh, look, this job, from the signs I see, this job must be, probably the Scorpion Group that did this one. Because they know themselves. I remember when, as a young boy growing up, our DVD was stolen in our house. One of the kingpins in the area, my uncle went to him and said, look, our DVD. He said, don't worry, you see it back. And in the evening, they brought it back. Because,
but they know the boys that can do that.
Exactly. He knows the boys that would. It's just the same. When I was living in close to Bariga, there was a time my car was vandalized, and I went to the guy they call King of Boys in that area, and I reported the issue to him. He said I shouldn't worry, that something will be done. And truly, something was done because he understands the security of that environment.
Okay, but the one about the Sharia law, do you believe in that? Chop the leg off or chop the hand off?
It still brings us back to the issue I'm talking about.
You need to get the person first.
You need to get the person first before you begin to talk about even chopping off his arm or the leg.
Can I quickly take Oladimeji, our last caller from Lagos? Good morning.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Dapo.
Morning, sir.
My name is Oladimeji, representing Lagos State Youth Parliament.
Oh, wonderful.
And I want to greet Barrister Liberal.
I greet you, Honorable Oladimeji.
All right. You know me very well because I'm one of the former speakers of the school. You attended one of his conferences.
Okay, yes. I remember.
Exactly. I just want to make some contribution because I believe at this time we need to think outside the box. I don't know why we are going to compare assassination with kidnapping. Because I believe that the major thing we need to talk about is our security section. And we can tighten the level of the security of our state. We have some other country when it comes to kidnapping. That is the main reason we are registering our numbers. We can track the way we can find those people who are kidnapping, who are not supposed to be kidnapped. Now, the first thing again is poverty levels. I hope at this point in time, we're supposed to be discussing about the budget that's going to be beneficiary to an individual of a citizen, whereby we eradicate poverty and crime in our environment. There's no how we won't have a little crime in our environment, but at the same time, we need to talk about how we can feed individuals so that we'll be able to have zero tolerance of bad attitude and bad behavior in our environment. That is what I want to contribute. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You talked about the policing. Let's talk about the judiciary and even the prisons within 2 minutes because we got 2 minutes to go.
I want to take it from where Oladimeji stopped. And he talked, societies are looking for ways to prevent you from even committing crime. Not to talk of, okay, allow him commit and then you now begin to catch him. That's why you see me, I'm dwelling so much on policing. Local policing, breaking policing to the barest minimum, eradicating poverty, like he said, and then also enhancing and enforcing the judiciary to perform at optimum capacity. Because if you have, I told you also, it also takes me to bringing governance to the people. A situation where you have 15, 16 million persons and you have just 64 courts attending to all of these 16 million people. It's akin to one man policing 400 persons.
And even the prisons also.
So the prisons is the same thing. As I tell you, since 1999, we have not added one prison to the existing infrastructures that we have. Even the existing ones that we have, you keep hearing of reforms, and yet they are in the same states that, do you know, an American preacher once told me that the American government cannot put their prisoners in our university hostels. Okay. That is not conducive enough to put prisoners. Not even talk about our university hostels, not to talk of our prison facilities, which is supposed to be reformatory. So you see a man goes to prison, he comes out worse than he was.
We have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Libros Oshoma, a legal practitioner.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. And that's our program for today and this week. Join us next week for interesting episodes. My name is Dakbo Aruajo. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.